This video is about the mom took our kids to the university campus and a millionaire sat beside her. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The sun hung low in the sky as Emma Parker maneuvered her minivan into a crowded parking lot at the edge of the university campus. It was a Saturday, a day when a normally bustling educational institution transformed into a playground for students and families alike. Emma glanced at the rearview mirror, catching the excited expressions of her twin daughters, Lily and Grace, aged 8. They were animated, the chatter filling the car like the bright autumn leaves swirling outside. "Mom, can we go to the science fair first? I want to see the volcanoes," Lily exclaimed, her pigtails bobbing with her enthusiasm. "Only if we can get ice cream afterward," Grace added, her bright blue eyes sparkling with mischief. Emma smiled, her heart swelling with warmth as she took in their joy. "Okay, science first, then ice cream, but first, let us find a good spot to park." After a few minutes of searching, she finally found a space near a towering oak tree that seemed to be a landmark amidst the sea of concrete and brick buildings. The tree's branches swayed gently in the breeze, casting a soothing shadow over the car. As they stepped out, Emma took a deep breath, inhaling the crisp air mixed with the faint scent of cinnamon from a nearby fruit stand. She felt a familiar flutter of nostalgia. This campus had been her home once, where she spent countless evenings with friends discussing dreams and futures. "Look, Mom, that is the science building," Lily pointed, tugging on Emma's sleeve. "Yes, honey, let us go," Emma replied, her heart dancing with the excitement of a new adventure. They walked toward the building, the girls darting ahead, their laughter ringing like music. Once inside, the atmosphere buzzed with a mix of chatter and laughter, tables laden with colorful projects and eager students showcasing their work. Emma felt a pang of pride watching her daughters immerse themselves in the wonder of learning. "Let us split up," Emma suggested, glancing at the numerous exhibits. "You both can explore while I take some photos. Meet back here in 20 minutes. The girls nodded enthusiastically before racing off in opposite directions, their laughter trailing behind them. Emma pulled out her phone, capturing candid shots of their excitement and the vivid displays around her. As she turned to snap a picture of Grace explaining her project on plant growth to an intrigued older student, she felt a presence beside her. A tall figure with a commanding presence stood nearby, his dark hair slightly tousled as though he had just rolled out of bed. He wore a tailored navy blazer over a casual white shirt, the sleeves rolled up to his elbows, revealing toned forearms. "Excuse me," he said, his voice slow and warm like honey. "You've got a camera, but don't forget to capture the moment with your daughters." Emma turned, momentarily caught off guard by the piercing blue of his eyes, a stark contrast to the soft browns and greens of the room. "Oh, she stammered, glancing at the screen and then back at him. "I guess I am just busy focusing on a project." He smiled, a genuine smile that reached his eyes, making them sparkle. "I understand completely. It's easy to get lost in the moment." She felt a flutter of nervous energy and quickly looked back at Grace. "I am Emma, by the way. James," he introduced himself, extending a hand. She hesitated for a brief moment, but then shook it, feeling a jolt of electricity at the contact. "Are you a professor here?" she asked, curious about this intriguing stranger. "Not a professor, but I am involved in funding some of the research programs," he replied, his gaze unwavering, making her heart race slightly. "It's my way of giving back. What about you? Are you a student?" Emma chuckled lightly, the sound tinged with nostalgia. "No, I graduated years ago. Just a mom now, bringing my girls to explore." He looked impressed. "That is fantastic. I admire you for taking the time to bring them here. It is important to nurture their curiosity." "Thank you," she said, feeling a warm blush creep across her cheeks. "I want them to experience everything this campus has to offer." James nodded, his attention shifting momentarily to the girls as they enthusiastically discussed the science experiments with a group of college students. "You're doing a great job. They seem really engaged." Emma's chest swelled with pride. They love science. This is their favorite subject. As they exchanged small talk, Emma found herself drawn to James's intensity. He spoke with passion, his hands animated as he described the importance of education and exploration. Despite the topics, there was an undeniable chemistry sparking between them. "So, what did you study here?" he asked, leaning slightly closer, the space between them shrinking. "I studied environmental science," she replied, surprised at how easily her words flowed. "I wanted to make a difference, but then life happened, and here I am." "Life has a way of doing that," he mused, his expression turning contemplative. I believe it is still possible to make an impact, no matter the path. Emma met his gaze, feeling a connection that made her heart quicken. What about you? Do you feel you are making that impact? James hesitated, a flicker of vulnerability crossing his face before he masked it with a charming smile. I try. Sometimes it feels like a drop in the ocean, though. Suddenly, Lily appeared at her side, her face flushed. Mom, we made volcanoes. Can you take a picture? Emma turned, momentarily pulled from the magnetic pull of James. Of course, let us go. As she prepared to snap the picture, James stepped back, maintaining a respectful distance, but his gaze lingered on Emma. I'll let you get back to your daughters, he said, a hint of reluctance in his voice. Maybe I'll see you around? Emma said, the words tumbling out before she had a chance to think. His smile returned, and for a brief moment, the world around them disappeared. I do like that. Enjoy your day. As he walked away, Emma felt an unexpected pang of disappointment settle in her chest. She shook her head, dismissing the feeling. What was she thinking? She was a mother first, her girls came before anything else. Mom, look! Grace shouted, running back to her, clutching a small plastic volcano. Isn't it cool? It is amazing, sweetheart. Emma exclaimed, forcing her thoughts back to her daughters. But James's image lingered, like a whisper on the wind that refused to fade. As they made their way deeper into the fair, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that this day held more than just a simple outing. Beneath the laughter and excitement, a soft undercurrent of longing stirred within her, a longing for connection, for something more than the routine of everyday life. Little did she know, this day would be the beginning of a connection that would challenge everything she thought she knew about herself and her heart. As Emma led her daughters deeper into the science fair, the sounds of laughter and excitement enveloped them. The vibrant colors of the project seemed to blend with the autumn foliage outside, wrapping the campus in a warm embrace. Look, Mom! Grace exclaimed, pointing to a brightly colored poster of the solar system. Can we go see that? Sure, honey, Emma replied, her heart light with the joy. She loved their enthusiasm for learning, the way they absorbed knowledge like sponges. But as they walked, her mind drifted back to James, the way his eyes had sparkled when he spoke about education. Mama. Lily tugged at her sleeve, breaking her reverie. Are you okay? You look like you were thinking about something else. Emma knelt down, meeting her daughter's gaze. Just thinking about how much fun we were having, sweetie. What do you want to see next? Lily giggled. The volcanoes, they're erupting. Well, let us hurry before they explode. Emma said playfully, racing ahead with the girls, their laughter trailing behind them like ribbons in a wind. After a series of exhilarating stops at the volcano demonstration and a robotics showcase, Emma noticed the sky was shifting from bright blue to amber. She glanced at her watch, suddenly aware of how much time had passed. All right, girls, it is almost time for ice cream. Yay, they shouted in unison, their excitement infectious. As they made their way toward the fruit stands, the tantalizing aroma of waffle cones filled the air, mingling with the scent of popcorn. Emma felt a pang of happiness at the sight of her daughters grinning broadly, their faces flushed with excitement. Can we get sprinkles? Grace asked, her eyes wide with anticipation. Of course. Emma replied, her heart swelling as she witnessed their unbridled joy. Just as they reached the ice cream stand, the crowd parted, and Emma caught sight of James again, standing a short distance away, engrossed in conversation with a group of students. An unexpected rush of warmth washed over her, catching her slightly off guard. Mom, ice cream? Lily shouted, tugging at her. Yes, coming, Emma said, dragging her eyes away from James. She approached the stand, glancing back only once to find him looking in her direction, a small smile playing at the corners of his lips. 3 cones, please, she said to the vendor, handing over cash. What flavors can we get? Grace asked, glancing at the colorful display. Okay, how about 1 chocolate, 1 strawberry, and 1 vanilla? Emma suggested. But I want mint chocolate chip, Lily protested, pouting slightly. All right, mint chocolate chip it is, Emma compromised, handing them each their cones. They stepped aside, the girls jumping with glee as they licked their cones. Emma watched them, feeling a sense of contentment wash over her, but it was fleeting. Her thoughts drifted back to James. She couldn't quite shake the memory of the earlier conversation, nor the way he had seemed genuinely interested in her. As they savored their ice cream, Emma noticed other parents milling about chatting, some with the same glances she had exchanged with James. A wave of self-doubt washed over her. Was she ready to entertain the idea of something more? Mom, look! Grace exclaimed, her face smeared with melted ice cream. Can we go play in the bouncy house? Emma smiled. Sure, just be careful, okay? As they made their way toward the inflatable structure, a laughter around them filled Emma's heart, but the nagging thought of James still lingered in the back of her mind. Who is that guy you were talking to earlier, Mom? Lily asked, her innocent curiosity breaking through Emma's thoughts. Oh, just someone who works at the university. He was telling me about the science programs here, Emma replied casually, hoping the girls wouldn't sense the warmth still blooming in her cheeks. Was he cute? Grace teased, wiggling her eyebrows comically. Emma couldn't help but laugh, her heart lightening. You two are silly. He is just a nice guy. But did you like him? Lily pressed, her voice a whisper, as if sharing a delicious secret. Emma hesitated. She had no idea how to answer. He is very interesting, she said finally, trying to keep her tone neutral. But it is not like that. I am just your mom. Mom, you can like guys and still be our mom. Grace exclaimed, her eyes wide with the wisdom of children. Emma smiled softly. I know, sweetheart, but right now, let us focus on having fun. As they bounced in the inflatable house, the girls squealed with joy, their laughter echoing off the walls. Emma watched them, her heart swelling with love, but her thoughts remained tangled with memories of James. Hey, you, their voice called out, breaking through the joist-in. Emma turned to see James walking toward her, a casual smile on his face. Hi, she replied, trying to keep her voice steady, her heart racing inexplicably. Looks like you be having a great time, he observed, glancing at the girls before returning his attention to Emma. They're reliving it, she said, gesturing to her daughters, who were now jumping energetically, their giggles filling the air. What about you? Enjoying the fair? Very much, he replied, his gaze holding hers a moment too long. It is nice to see such enthusiasm. You must be a great mom. Thank you, Emma said, feeling a warmth spread through her. But they were the ones who make it easy. He nodded, his expression serious for a moment. I admire that you are so involved. Most parents get too caught up in their own lives to share moments like these. I suppose it is easy to forget what is important, Emma replied, her gaze drifting briefly to the ground. But I love making memories with them. I can see that, he said, stepping slightly closer. There was a spark of something in his expression, a question, a desire, but it was quickly masked as a group of students rushed by, laughing and shouting. Emma felt the moment slip, the tension dissipating with their interruption. So, what are you up to now? She asked, trying to reset the mood. Just mingling with some students, but I'd much rather chat with you, James replied, his tone playful, but Emma noticed a hint of sincerity behind his words. Really, I am just a mom at a science fair, she said, attempting to brush off the compliment. And a fascinating one at that, he countered, leaning against a nearby pole, his posture relaxed. Emma felt a flutter of nerves, unsure how to respond. So, do you come to these events often? She asked, trying to steer the conversation. Only when I can. I like engaging with the next generation of thinkers, he said, his eyes focused on her, intense and unwavering. Plus, I enjoy the energy of events like this. Emma felt the weight of his gaze, the unspoken tension thickening the air between them. It does feel invigorating, don't it? She said softly, a shy smile creeping onto her face. Very much so, especially when there is someone interesting to talk to, he replied, his words laced with a subtle flirtation that sent a thrill through her. Just then, Grace approached, her face smeared with chocolate and a wide grin. Mom, can we go to the petting zoo next? Emma turned, her heart breaking the moment. Of course, sweetie, let us go find Lily. As they wandered toward the petting zoo, Emma felt a pull inside her, a longing for more than just ice cream and science fairs. Her heart whispered of possibilities, of connections, and of the tantalizing threads that had begun to weave themselves into her life, starting with a chance encounter at a university science fair. The petting zoo was a small patch of soft hay and gentle bleats, laughter echoing off the wooden fences as children rushed to pet the animals. Emma watched her daughters dart off with unrestrained joy, their colorful ice cream cones hastily discarded on a bench. Mom, look at the goats. Grace called out, her eyes sparkling with delight. Emma smiled, her heart swelling with pride as she approached, but the air felt heavier now, charged with unspoken words and lingering thoughts of James. The way he had looked at her, the heat of his gaze, the intensity of their brief exchanges, it all clung to her like the scent of hay. Can I pet the goat, Mom, please? Lily asked, her voice high with excitement as she pointed to a small, brown goat that seemed particularly friendly. Of course, just be gentle, Emma instructed, watching as the girls knelt beside the fence. The small hands reached out to stroke the goat as soft fur, their laughter mingling with the sounds of the other children. As she stood back, Emma took a moment to observe her daughters cherishing their pure joy. Yet, amidst her love, an unsettling thought crept in. Was she ready to let someone else into her life, to even entertain the idea of a connection with a man like James? "Mom, come here." Grace's voice broke through her thoughts. Emma turned, making her way toward the fence, where Grace was now leading a small black and white goat closer. It was nibbling on her fingers, and Grace's giggles echoed around them. "Looks like it likes you." Emma laughed, kneeling beside her. "Can we take it home?" Lily chimed in, her eyes wide with hope. Emma chuckled. "I am afraid not, sweetie. Goats need lots of space." Just then, a shadow fell over them, and Emma looked up to find James standing nearby, his casual demeanor contrasting the warm light of the setting sun. He had a small smile on his face, and Emma's heart raced unexpectedly. "Looks like you're having a good time," he remarked, his gaze drifting over the girls before settling on Emma once more. "They're loving the pets," Emma said, trying to sound casual. "How about you? Did you find anything interesting?" James chuckled softly. "I've seen a few projects that caught my eye, but I think this is the most lively exhibit by far." Emma felt a flush creeping up her neck, a mixture of embarrassment and excitement. "Just a bunch of goats and kids," she replied, trying to downplay the moment. "Ah, but it is genuine joy," he said, his voice dropping slightly, creating a bubble of intimacy. "You can put a price on that." The way he looked at her with that deep, understanding gaze sent a shiver down her spine. She fought the urge to lean in closer, to bridge the space between them. "You're right," she murmured, momentarily lost in his eyes. Just then, Lily squealed as the goat tried to nibble on her shoelaces. "Mom, help." Emma turned, laughter bubbling up as she helped Lily shake the playful goat away. Okay, no shoelaces for you." "Maybe you should try to keep your shoes out of reach," James teased, leaning against the fence with an easy charm. Emma shot him a playful glare. "Not all of us had experience with goats, James." "True, but it is never too late to learn," he replied, his voice smooth with a hint of flirtation, a challenge lingering in the air. As they continued talking, Emma felt that familiar flutter in her chest. She was drawn to his intelligence, his passion for life and education. Yet the reality of her life loomed large, pulling her back from any spirals of fantasy. "Hey, I was just talking to some students about a project I am funding," James said, breaking her reverie. "Perhaps your daughters might be interested in getting involved. That focuses on environmental conservation." "Oh, really?" Emma asked, intrigued. "That sounds amazing. Would you like to come to a meeting next week? I could show you the details and see if it is something they do enjoy." Emma hesitated. "I don't know, James. I mean, I am just a mom bringing my kids to the fair, not someone special." He leaned closer, a serious expression crossing his face. "You read much more than that. You read nurturing curiosity in your daughters, which is what this project is all about, and besides, I do like to get to know you better." The air thickened with tension, the unspoken weight of possibility lingering between them. Emma swallowed, her heart racing. "I would love to learn more," she said finally, surprised at how easy the words came out. "Great," he said, a genuine smile breaking across his face. "I'll text you the details." She nodded, feeling the heat rise in her cheeks. "Yes, that would be perfect." Just then, the girls bounded back toward them, beaming from ear to ear, still high on the thrill of the animals. "Mom, can we get sacks?" Grace asked, her face flushed with excitement. "Of course, but just something small," Emma replied, glancing at James, who stood watching with a hint of amusement. "Maybe we could all grab a snack together," he suggested casually. Emma's heart raced again, the thought of sharing a meal with him sending butterflies flitting through her stomach. "That sounds nice," she replied, her voice a little breathier than she intended. As they approached the food stand, Emma felt a sense of camaraderie growing. James engaged with the girls, asking them about their favorite snacks, and they chirped back animatedly. "What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?" he asked, glancing at Emma. "Mint chocolate chip," she replied, her heart pounding as she caught his gaze. "Good choice," he said softly, but it can't compare to the joy of sharing it with someone special. Emma felt a rush of warmth at his words. "And how often do you share it with someone special, James?" she asked, half teasing, half serious. His eyes twinkled. "Not as often as I'd like. Life does tend to get in the way." They fell into a comfortable rhythm, the conversation flowing easily, but Emma could feel the slight tension lingering beneath the surface. Would they cross that unspoken line? As they ordered their snacks, Emma's thoughts flickered to the reality of her situation. She was a single mother, busy with school runs and soccer practices. Was it wise to entertain anything beyond friendly conversation? "Mom, can we have juice boxes?" Grace asked, snapping Emma back to the present. "Sure, let us grab those," she said, her heart still racing from the laughter and connection. Just as she turned away, a flicker of movement caught her attention. James was watching her, a small smile playing on his lips. "Here, I'll grab those for you," he said, stepping forward to take care of the order. "Thanks," Emma said, her heart fluttering. As James interacted with the vendor, Emma's thoughts spiraled. She was drawn to him in a way that felt both exhilarating and terrifying. It was a rush she hadn't felt in years, a soft reminder of the possibilities beyond her daily life. But that settled in her mind. "Mom?" Lily's voice broke through her thoughts again. "Can we ride the ponies, please?" Emma turned to see her daughters bouncing with excitement. "I think we can manage that," she said, smiling at their enthusiasm. James returned just in time, handing them their snacks. "What is the verdict, ponies?" "Yay," the girls shouted in unison, their joy infectious. "Let us go then," Emma said, leading the way, but the warmth of James beside her made her pulse race. As they walked, she felt the soft brush of his arm against hers, every moment stretching out, filled with a delicious tension. They reached the pony area, and Emma watched her daughters hop onto the smaller animals, squealing with delight. "Look at them," she exclaimed, turning to James, her eyes sparkling with happiness. "They were having the time of their lives," he agreed, leaning closer to her as he spoke. She could feel the magnetism between them, a pull that made her want to lean into him, to explore those uncharted waters. But the weight of reality held her back, the fear of getting lost in something she wasn't sure she was ready for. "Maybe we should stand back," Emma suggested, forcing some distance between them. James met her gaze, his expression softening. "I understand, but I think you should know that it is okay to let people in, Emma." His words hung in the air, a tender reminder that perhaps she was allowed to consider more than just being a mother. "You were right," she said quietly, her heart pounding. As the girls giggled and trotted along on their ponies, Emma found herself smiling at James, a connection growing in every exchanged glance. This day had turned into something far more profound than a simple outing. "Maybe we can do this again sometime," he ventured, his voice low. Emma felt the soft flutter of surprise at James' suggestion, her heart racing as she turned to fully face him. "You mean like another outing?" He leaned against the wooden fence, his gaze unwavering, a spark of mischief dancing in his eyes. "Why not? I think the girls would enjoy getting to know me better, and I them." She hesitated, a jumble of emotions swirling in her chest. "It is just, life gets complicated." "Complicated isn't he always bad, Emma," he said, tilting his head as he studied her. "It can lead to something beautiful." Their eyes locked, and Emma felt a rush of heat creep up her neck. The intensity of his gaze made her pulse quicken, a wild mixture of excitement and fear bubbling to surface. She started, but the moment was interrupted by Grace's squeal as a pony trotted past. "Look, Mum, I am going so fast!" Grace shouted, her laughter intertwining with the soft whinnies of the ponies. Emma turned back to her daughters, burying her thoughts beneath a smile. "You were natural on that pony, sweetie." She cheered, her heart swelling with pride. James chuckled, his voice a warm rumble beside her. "They really are delightful." "Yes, they are," Emma agreed, though her mind was still half with the conversation they had just shared. "But I don't want to confuse them, they're still so young." "They're kids, Emma. They love meeting new people, and so do you," he said gently, the hint of challenge in his voice making her pulse race again. Emma looked at him, her heart pounding. "I haven't really considered dating since," she paused, memories flooding her mind. Mike's face flashed in her thoughts, the way he had left, leaving her to pick up the pieces alone. "Since," he prompted softly, concern flickering across his features. "Since the divorce," Emma confessed, the weight of her words hanging heavily in the air. "It has been hard to think about anyone else." James nodded, his expression thoughtful. "I get that, but you deserve happiness, Emma, you and your girls." As the conversation deepened, the world around them faded, the laughter and joy of the petting zoo slipping into the background. Emma found herself leaning closer to him, the smell of his cologne mixing with the crisp autumn air. "It is just I don't want to put them in a situation that might hurt them or confuse them." "Let us take it slow," he suggested, his voice soothing as he looked into her eyes. "There is no rush, just two families getting to know each other." His words wrapped around her like a warm blanket, easing her fears just a little. "I like that idea," she replied, though a tiny voice in the back of her mind whispered doubts. Just then, Lily hopped off her pony, her cheeks flushed with excitement. "Mom, can I do it again?" "Of course, sweetheart. Just be careful," Emma said, her heart swelling at the sheer joy radiating from her daughters. As Lily scampered back toward the pony line, Emma turned back to James, who was watching her with an amused smile. "You are quite the mom, you know that?" "Thank you. It is a full-time job," she replied, a hint of pride coloring her words. "And you do it well. It is clear how much they adore you," he said, leaning in slightly, his voice dropping to a more intimate tone. Emma felt the heat rise in her cheeks again. "I try my best," she murmured. "And it shows," he insisted, his gaze steady and emotion simmering just beneath the surface that sent a flutter through her heart. "Thank you, James," she said quietly, feeling a connection growing between them, one that was both thrilling and terrifying. Suddenly, a loud cheer erupted from a group of children nearby, snapping Emma out of her reverie. She glanced over, seeing the girls bouncing around, their laughter mingling with the excitement. "Mom, can we get cotton candy?" Grace called out, her face lighting up. Emma laughed, waving her hand. "Sure, just a little. Let us finish up here and then we'll grab some." As the girls regrouped, James took a step closer, lowering his voice. "You know, I am not just a $1 million guy," he said, a slight smirk on his lips. "I can be fun, too." Emma raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Oh, really? What kind of fun do you have in mind?" His smile broadened, a playful glint in his eye. "I have a few tricks up my sleeve, but you'll have to find out for yourself." "Is that a challenge?" she asked, her heart racing at his boldness. "Perhaps," he said, his tone lingering playfully, thick with unspoken possibilities. "All right then, I accept," she replied, feeling a wave of confidence wash over her. Just then, the group of children around them erupted into laughter again, and Emma turned to see Lily and Grace huddled together, both with cotton candy in hand, their faces smeared with sugar. "Mom, look at our fluffy clouds," Lily exclaimed, holding her treat up triumphantly. Emma chuckled, her heart swelling at their joy. "Those are the biggest clouds I've ever seen." Shane smiled at the sight, clearly charmed by the girls' energy. "I think they might be the best clouds in all of the university." "Definitely. They should win some kind of prize," Emma teased, grinning at him. He leaned closer again, his voice low. "Maybe they'll win a prize for the best cotton candy eaters." The playful banter flowed effortlessly between them, each word thick with tension. Emma felt herself relaxing, the earlier doubts fading away as the warmth of connection enveloped her. "Should we find a place to sit?" James suggested, gesturing toward a nearby picnic table. "Yes, let us," Emma agreed, feeling the flutter of anticipation in her stomach as they walked side by side, their shoulders brushing occasionally. As they settled at the table, Emma's heart raced with every shared glance. The girls bounced around, the giggles echoing in the air, but Emma's focus remained locked on James. "Do you come to these things often?" she asked, trying to steer the conversation back to lightheartedness. "Only when I can. I believe in fostering curiosity. Children are our future." "Very noble," she teased lightly, her heart swelling at his passion. "And here I thought you'd just like cotton candy." He chuckled, the sound rich and warm. "I do enjoy it, but I find that the laughter and joy it brings is what makes it worthwhile." Emma felt the connection deepen, an electric current igniting between them. "I agree, it is the small moments that matter." "Speaking of small moments," he said, leaning in slightly, "I think this is one of those." Her breath caught in her throat, the undertones of his words stirring something inside her. "Yes, it definitely feels like one." Just then, Grace darted over, her face a picture of pure delight and sugar-induced excitement. "Mom, can we go on the Ferris wheel next, please?" Emma glanced at James, who wore a knowing smile. "The Ferris wheel, that sounds like a great idea." Lily joined them, cotton candy in hand. "Can we, Mom, can we?" Emma looked at the two thrill-seekers, their eyes wide with anticipation. "All right, let us go, but you have to promise to hang on tight." As they made their way to the Ferris wheel, Emma's heart raced not just with adrenaline, but also with the exhilarating possibility of what might unfold. She could feel James walking beside her, the energy between them crackling like static in the air. As they climbed into the brightly painted cabin of the Ferris wheel, Emma clutched the safety bar, her heart pounding in her chest. The girls giggled as the ride began to move, laughter blending with the gentle creaking of the wheel. "Are you afraid of heights?" James asked, leaning close, his breath warm against her ear. "Not at all, but I am more afraid of falling for a guy who is, well, a millionaire," she replied, her voice teasing but heavy with an undertone of seriousness. James chuckled softly, leaning back in his seat, eyes glinting with mischief. "What is wrong with that? You might just find a hidden treasure." Emma met his gaze, feeling the tension between them shift, growing thicker with every passing moment. I might just be the treasure you were looking for. Where you might be the only one worth searching for, he replied, his tone earnest, pulling her into a moment of vulnerability. The cabin of the Ferris wheel crested the top, and Emma gasped as they took in the view of a sprawling campus. The horizon painted in hues of orange and pink, the sun casting a golden glow that felt like a promise. "Look, Mom, it is so beautiful," Lily exclaimed, pointing out over the landscape.